What's up, everybody? So, I don't really want to sell this as like a prophetic word in the sense of like, it is a prophetic word. It is a prophetic vision. It is something that God's given me. But it's like, and it is definitely regarding Charlie Kirk's death and the result that's going to be happening. But it's at the same time, it's like, it's already happening. Right? So it's like when you're in a relationship with the Lord, He just speaks to you. He just talks. He just shares stuff. He reveals things to you. He shows things to you, right? And as the Lord gave me this word, I wasn't even looking for this. We were just talking about it. It came up in our God time last night, and we were just talking about, Charlie Kirk. It just happened to come up as an example of something else. And then I just got this vision from the Lord about like, whoa, oh my gosh, yeah. And then, it's hard to get on social media on any level and not see stuff about Charlie Kirk and things that people are saying and stuff that's going on. And it's flooded, and I'm okay with that. That's cool. And so, but I just wanted to share something on my channel, on my platform, the thing that God's given me, and just share something that he showed me in regards to what happened with Charlie Kirk. Or what's going to be happening as far as like the aftermath, right? So I felt like God gave me this vision. Charlie Kirk, he comes into this wooded place. Think of like Yosemite or Lake Tahoe or some place like that where there's got this wooded area, but no one's there. It's a populated place. It's a national park kind of place. It's a place that people are, but no one is where he is. And he's there, and he's just setting up this thing. He's putting these rocks together, and you go, oh, he's building a bonfire. Okay, cool. That's nothing unusual, right? But he begins to build this fire, or it's like he's building a fire, right? I don't think anyone knew it was going to become a bonfire. And it became this huge bonfire. It became so big that just, it just became this big bonfire. I'm just going to stick to the vision instead of trying to interpret or comment on it. And so there's this huge bonfire, and it was like Charlie Kirk himself was the bonfire. He himself was that huge, massive fire. And so I saw in the spirit. What does that mean? That means if you take your natural eyes and you look around, you're not going to see it. You have to discern it in the spirit. That's why you have to be born again, so that your spiritual eyes can be opened. Even though you look around and you see physical world, you can hear from God. You can see in the spirit. You can discern things in the spirit as being led and directed and guided by the Holy Spirit, God himself, who is a spirit, right? And I could just see in the spirit, there was this panic going on because the light that he was radiating, that God was radiating through Charlie Kirk, was just, when your whole business is designed and based and founded and dependent on darkness and people being in the dark and people thinking anything other than the truth, well, when this huge bonfire of truth is coming, it's going to expose, it's going to light up things, and it's like you have less darkness and more light. Well, that's bad for the business of darkness, right? If you're selling a ton of burgers and then you open up a chicken shop, you're probably going to get some good business. But then you have a bunch of other people open up a bunch of chicken shops, well, then it's going to be competition, right? And I felt like the enemy was like, whoa, this needs to be snuffed out. And so I just saw in the spirit this big demon, and he was kind of perched up, and so he had an aerial view of the bonfire, and he pulled out this massive, this big bow, right? And he put this huge arrow into it, and he pulled it back, and he's aiming at the bonfire, because the bonfire is as big as, or the arrow, my bad, the arrow is as big as the bonfire, the arrowhead. It's just huge. And so this demon he pulls back and he launches it, and it does hit the bonfire. So, mission accomplished for the enemy, right? But here's what I saw. It hit the bonfire, and when it hit the bonfire, it was almost like the bonfire exploded. Because the whole idea, what the enemy was trying to do, was just to put the bonfire out and shoot this big arrow into it that was the size of the whole circumference of the of the ring, those little rocks that you make to contain the fire. It was just going to snuff it out, right? Well, what it did is it exploded, and these embers, huge chunks, smaller chunks, they just went flying everywhere. And you could just see, I saw this demon's face, and he was just like, and it was almost like, what, you didn't think that through? Is that that's not really how you put out a fire. You don't shoot fire at it to put out a fire. You don't do what you did to put out the fire. You just created a huge problem. It's like taking a canister of nitroglycerin and saying, I'm going to get this as far away from me as possible, and you cock it back and you whip your arm. Well, it's going to blow up in your face before you can even release it. And it's like, well, yeah, that really kept you safe there, didn't it? But I did. I felt like the Lord showed me that. And it's not like I felt like the Lord showed me. He did. He showed me this. And it exploded everywhere. And it was like, oh my gosh. And it was like the demon knew, oh my word, this is going to cause the entire place to catch on fire. That's literally what I was trying to stop, and literally I just started. It reminds me of when Jesus was crucified. When Jesus was crucified, the enemy thought, oh, I will kill the Son. Just like when Jesus was telling the parable of the Son coming. I sent servants to you, my servants the prophets, and you killed all them. Well, surely if I send my Son, you'll respect me. You'll recognize that it's me. No, they said, no, there's the Son. We'll kill him. Jesus was saying, this is what's going to happen to me, actually. This is what they're going to do. And through the death of Jesus came all of us who believe, right? And Charlie Kirk was one of those people. So it's like, I felt like the Lord saying, through the death of Charlie Kirk, there's going to be so many more Charlie Kirks. And I was literally just watching a video today where this one girl, I don't know how I landed on it, but she was like, you just made 1 million more Charlie Kirks. And I was like, that's the vision I had last night. Literally, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was like, ooh, I don't want to gather all this information. Because, of course, the people that I'm talking to, you guys who know me, I don't manufacture prophetic words or something like that, or data mine, or all this stuff that other people are being accused of, which I'm not sure is right or wrong or whatever. But it's like, that's what I saw. I was like, wow, you were trying to put out the fire. You literally blew up the bonfire, and embers and stuff were going everywhere and landing everywhere. And it was like, all of those are going to catch fire. You are going to have a forest fire. The very thing that you were trying to prevent, you literally just accelerated on a magnanimous, is that a right word? A mega. Oh, how about that? A mega level. It's just like, what did you think that through? Oh, well, see, that's the problem with the enemy. It's like he has to attack you. It's a risk for him, because if he attacks you, his goal is to keep you down. But he's hoping that it'll keep you down. But the problem is, the attack could actually make you stronger. The attack could actually make you better. The attack could actually embolden you to have even more faith and more trust and step out even further in what God's called you to do. And it could inspire others to do the same. And so I just wanted to share that, because I just felt like that's what the Lord was saying. It's like, wow, and this is what's going to happen. This is how I take what the enemy meant for evil and I turn it for good. And I just feel like the Lord's just saying, just watch. Just watch. So hope that encourages you guys to, in the midst of this difficult time we're having and going through this process of mourning, that we would actually not mourn like those who have no hope, but draw greater strength from what the Lord has planned. From the day Charlie Kirk was killed, the Lord's been giving me all these crazy visions of, I'm coming to satisfy, and I'm coming to bless, I'm coming to do this, and I'm coming to do that. I'm like, wow, okay. What an interesting response from the Father in the wake of this. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. In the midst of everything else that's out there being shared, I wanted to give you, or at least the Lord wanted to give you, a little something from this angle, from the Devin and Michelle LaVore channel. Okay. Love you guys. Bye bye.